Spartanburg thought he was decent, but I mean, the kid wasn't getting scholarship offers to high Division I schools, and he was born in Tar Heel country.
Because he's just so small. I mean,
you could blow on him. He would fade away.
So how has he managed at his size? How much you are? I'm just sitting here next to you. Okay, you are so much, at least to my eye, thicker than he is, right? I mean, Steph, it's not just that he's short. I mean, we had Steph Curry with us at the All-Star game in Manhattan in February, and I was standing there talking to him. And he's probably, I'm 5'11 and a half. He's probably 2 inches taller than me, maybe. Not more than that. And I don't think he weighs more than I do. I really don't. What is he listed at? I don't think he weighs
175.
All right, I weigh 170. It's exactly what I weighed myself yesterday. I weigh 176. So he's basically my size. How in the world is he the best basketball or the MVP of the NBA? He's listed at 185, which I think is directly out of a shower while holding sponges.
He's a wizard with the ball, and I'm going to go ahead and say this because I firmly believe it. And this is a person that I studied tape of when I was younger because my dad was a huge fan of his. I think he is the modern-day version of Pistol Pete Maravich because he is able to get his shot off at any given time because it's unexpected. And, look, these guards these days are so tight with the basketball. What I mean by that is when you see guys do moves, when you see Derrick Rose do moves, the ball doesn't really leave like an extension of his body. It stays within this frame, right? He's so loosey-goosey with the ball that it kind of intrigues you to take a shot at trying to get a steal. They're trying to, go after it. And some of the passes he's able to make in traffic, underarm, I mean, just over the head. He's magical with the ball. He might be one under 6'2". I don't know if I've seen a better player maybe other than Allen Iverson. I don't know. Under 6'2"?
How tall is Isaiah Thomas?
Isaiah Thomas, yes.
That's the fight I always
category
have.
As well. I'm sorry.
I have this fight with the Iverson fans all the time. And look, I loved watching Allen Iverson play. He was as entertaining. He was a guy that you would, the price of admission kind of thing. I would pay to watch Allen Iverson play all day long. But if you told me I could either have Allen Iverson or Isaiah Thomas on my team, I'd take Isaiah 10 out of 10 times.
Now, who was a better passer? Would you say Steph Curry was a better passer than Isaiah Thomas? We should get some of those stats up to do like a side-by-side.
Isaiah Thomas, in my opinion, this is just one man's opinion. I'm older than you are. Well, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, so I'm much older than you are. So you were a kid when Isaiah Thomas was
I was a huge
great.
Isaiah Thomas fan,
okay,
yeah. So I'm with you.
So I mean, I hate to say this out loud, I was covering sports when Isaiah Thomas was playing. Isaiah Thomas was, when the money was on the line, I would have the ball in Isaiah Thomas's hands, top 5 of anybody I've ever seen. I've ever seen. I'm talking Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and that level. I saw him play games, and anyone who's my age and older and old enough to, I saw him play games in the NBA Finals against the Lakers when he was the best player on the floor by far. Not even close.
Even when he was hurt.
One of them when he could barely walk, with the injuries. I saw him score 16 points, and I think in like a minute and a half in a playoff game against the Knicks to send it into overtime. Isaiah Thomas was an incredible player, incredible. And his Hall of Fame speech, when he said, if I had been 6'6", I would have killed all those guys, he's right. He's right.
Here's the one thing I love about Zeke. Some guys just have it.
Yeah.
Right? And every time you see him, he still, even to this day when I watch him on NBA TV, he still has that killer look in his eyes where he's always playing angry. I love that about players.
The problem with Isaiah Thomas is that the lack of success, the extraordinarily high-profile failure that was his tenure running the Knicks, I think has influenced people's opinion of him and has diminished their view of him as a player, which is unfair. It has nothing to do with him as a player.
That's crazy. So are the views of Michael Jordan diminished as an upper management guy, too? Because
it hasn't. I don't know why it hasn't. Part of it is because Isaiah wasn't as well liked. He was sort of the guy who wore the black hat. He was they were the bad boys and all that kind of stuff. So to some degree, I think that people already kind of had it in for him. And Isaiah has had several sort of high-profile things
with
go
the Knicks
wrong. The Knicks, the CBA, whatever it was. But none of that has anything to do with him as a player. But we got sidetracked. Steph Curry, Pistol Pete, it's a good analogy. Steph Curry is 1,000 times better player. I said this to him when we were together in New York. I said, you have proven a million people, including me, dead wrong. Coming out, I said, there's a guy who he'll be Steve Kerr in the NBA. That's what I thought he'd be. A guy that, you need a great player on your team to kick it out to him, and he'll just knock down shots all day, but he'll never be a guy who creates his own shot. He'll never be a guy who can hold his own defensively. That's what I expected, and I could not possibly have been more wrong.
Ray said it correctly today before we even started the show. Every time you see this kid shoot, you think it's going in. And half the time he takes a shot, it's an unexpected shot that I don't see him taking. And the kid is unbelievable.
He's
I'm going to drop the mic on
remarkable.
that one.
And just leave it at that. As far as by the way, 144 players have attempted at least 2,000 three-pointers. None have a higher percentage than Steph Curry. At 44%. Yeah, by the time it's all said and done, I think there's a very good chance we'll say he's the greatest shooter that ever lived. By the way, Mike and Mike, a reminder, next Thursday and Friday, we're live in Chicago for the NFL Draft, brought to you by DXL. All the best men's brands, waist size 38 and up. DXL, you're looking good. Speaking of the NFL, they'll release their schedule tonight. I've got the 5 things you need to know before the schedule release. And up next, Jay has his top 5 point guards in the playoffs, and I am going to tell him he missed out on number 1.